The Pakistan Army Field Marshal has arrived in Iran to advance the next round of peace talks between the US and Iran. The meeting is Pakistan's topmost priority as the two-week ceasefire is still firm between the US and Iran. Pakistan has emerged as the central key player in de-escalating the debilitating war between the US and Iran. Pakistan's close ties in the Gulf, Iran, and the US have facilitated the nation to mediate and bring the opposing forces to the table. White House appreciated and thanked Pakistan for initiating and executing the peace talks between the US and Iran. Pakistan's Asim Munir, along with his high-level delegation, is scheduled to meet Iran's Foreign Minister Araghchi in Iran. The purpose of his visit is to convey Trump's peace offers. The visit comes at a time when White House has declared that peaceful dialogue is still continuing with Iran and a next level of dialogue will likely take place in Islamabad. As per the spokesperson of Iran's foreign ministry, Esmail Bakai, said that after the conclusion of the first round of peace talks between Iran and the US, Tehran continued to exchange messages with White House through Pakistan. The first round of talks between the US and Iran failed after a 20-hour-long marathon. As per President Trump, Iran agreed to most of the points presented by the US delegation. However, it refused to agree with the most overriding demand of the US, which was nuclear weapons. The talks between the two nations came to a halt as Iran reserved its right to enrich uranium and refused to give up on nuclear ambitions. The second major point of rift was Israeli attacks on Lebanon. Iran claimed that the ceasefire announcement included Iran's allies, like Lebanon, under the agreement. Iran demanded that Lebanon be covered under the ceasefire agreement. But shortly after the ceasefire, Israel announced that it would continue to attack Hezbollah in Lebanon to secure its northern boundaries. Iran has clearly stated that for a successful ceasefire, Israel must stop attacking Lebanon. The US Vice President JD Vance has said that Trump wants to make a grand bargain with Iran. Vance stressed that what Trump is offering to Iran cannot be offered by any other president. The only conditions Trump has put forth are that Iran must give up nuclear weapons and state-sponsored terrorism.
This is that we have this ceasefire that's in place. I think it's 6 or 7 days old. Right now, this ceasefire is holding. And what you're seeing is what the president wants to make. He doesn't want to make like a small deal. He wants to make the grand bargain. And what he's basically offering to Iran is very simple, and frankly, it's something that no president has had the ability to offer. He said that if you're willing to act like a normal country, we are willing to treat you economically like a normal country. He doesn't want a small deal. And that's one of the reasons why, one, I'd say in Pakistan, we made a ton of progress. But the reason why the deal is not yet done is because the president, he really wants a deal where Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon, Iran is not state-sponsoring terrorism, but also the people of Iran can thrive and prosper and join the world economy. And that's the trade that he's offering. He's saying, if you guys...
White House has expressed optimism about the next round of peace talks between the US and Iran. However, the White House press secretary has rejected the reports that the US has formally requested to extend the duration of the ceasefire. Caroline stated that the US blockade of Hormuz will continue as the next round of peace talks will take place. The ceasefire will end on April 22, 2026.
Yes, so I saw some reporting, again, bad reporting this morning, that we had formally requested an extension of the ceasefire. That is not true at this moment. We remain very much engaged in these negotiations, in these talks. You heard from the Vice President directly and the President this week that these conversations are productive and ongoing, and that's where we are right now. I've also seen some reporting about the potentiality for in-person discussions again. Those discussions are being had, but nothing is official until you hear it from us here at the White House. But we feel good about the prospects of a deal. The president mentioned that in his interview yesterday. And it's obviously in the best interest of Iran to meet the president's demands. I think he's made his red lines in these negotiations very clear to the other side. And so we are continuing to see how these conversations go.